Hello, welcome back. My name is Freya. I am a knitter living in Glasgow with my wife Karina and my two cats, Kiska and Nanook. It's been a long time. I'm a little bit late with this video, but I really want to do this because I find them so fun and interesting. So I am going to show you all of the garments that I knit in 2022. I have knit accessories too, but I'm going to split it into two videos because one, there's a lot, and two, I know that not everyone is interested in both. So I'm going to split it. So I'm going to do a little, well first I'll say I'm going to have timestamps. So if you're not interested in one thing that I'm talking about, skip to the next, I won't be offended. I'm going to give a little intro as to why I've been away for so long, so you can skip that too. I often skip intros myself, so I won't be offended. So basically, I've spoken about it before a little bit, but I have bipolar and CPTSD, and alongside that goes anxiety, which has been, you know, a lot recently. And also, unfortunately, my granny passed away and my granddad has also passed away as well. No! The culprit. I love you too. So I'm doing therapy. I've just started a group therapy on top of that therapy. So there's been a lot. And also Christmas, which was a lot as well. So yeah, brief, that's where I've been. That's what I've been doing. I should really have done another podcast because I have finished quite a bit since the podcast that I've just done, my last podcast. I'm just going to put it in this video. Yeah, and I will do another podcast soon, hopefully. So let's just start. My cats are going crazy, by the way, so I apologise if there's a bit of noise and fighting. So yeah, let's start with the first thing that I knit in 2022, which was my Chestnut sweater by Petite Knit. So I knit this in Drops Flora held together with Drops Kid Silk Mohair, Drops Flora in White Fog, and Mohair in Chalk. And I love the colour combination of this. This is definitely my most worn sweater of last year. It is very dirty. I will not show you a close-up, but yes, I love this jumper so much. It's quite oversized, obviously, but I love that. When I first knitted it, I wasn't sure about the big neck. I'm still not sure if I suit it or not, but I don't really care because it's so warm and comfy and cozy, and often if I'm wearing other jumpers, I'll have to put like a shawl on or a little scarf on because this bit always gets so cold. With this I don't have to, so it's like an all-in-one. I'm not sure how in shot I am. But this is a split hem, which also makes it so much easier to wear because when you're sitting down, like, your jumper's not stretching or pulling, it just fits the body, most of the body, or whatever position you're in. I love this pattern. It did take a while to knit because it's quite big, and I think it was 4.5mm needles, which is pretty small. I'm a little bit of a tight knitter, I think, so I always go up like 0.5 at least on jumpers or anything really. Not sure why I said that. But yes, this is So the fabric it's worn okay. It's starting to feel a little bit weirdly like acrylic. It's starting to feel a bit like acrylic. I'm not sure what that's about. Pilling, it has pilled quite a bit. You can, I don't want to show it up close because it is so dirty and disgusting, but it's like big pills. I've not really depilled it, I just, you know, whenever I see it I try to take it off, but it's calmed down now. And yeah, oh, one thing is with the neck, it stretches out, but when I reblock it and wash it, it goes back. This needs a wash, so it's kind of annoyingly a bit too big here. But I love this jumper, and I knit another one as well, which I will show you. So the next finished object is my Cumulus blouse, also by Petite Knit. So this one I knit. I'm throwing all the jumpers over here. It's going to be an absolute mess by the end. So I knit this using one strand of drops mohair in dark grey, I think, and one strand of Malabrigo lace in pearl jam. I think I got that right. The pattern calls for 2 strands of mohair, but I really like fabrics. The year in 2021 I knit a ranunculus holding together a lace and a mohair, and I loved the fabric that created, so I wanted to knit another garment or jumper using the same kind of a combination, and I adore the fabric that this has made. I love the fit. I wanted just like a classic, comfy, easy to wear, will go with anything jumper to wear doing anything, and I think this can be worn dressed up, dressed down, comfy, a little bit smart. So with this, the modifications that I made was I made the v-neck a bit lower. I do wish I'd knit it even lower, but I think this is easier, you know, it's not risky. So it kind of probably fits what I was wanting better anyway. I probably almost definitely fiddled around with what size I knit. I think I knit between a size. I often do that with garments. Yeah. So maybe the sleeves were a smaller size than the body, something like that. For the sleeves, I didn't, maybe I did like 1 or 2 decrease. The pattern says to decrease and then do the I-cord. I don't think I decreased, or I decreased like 2 stitches out. The same for the body. I'm not sure how much you can see, that's probably really annoying. But for the hem, I also did like 1 or 2 decreases. The pattern said to decrease a lot, but I don't really like the look of jumpers pulling in at the bottom. This pulls in more than really what I want it to. Nanook, what are you doing? So that's the fit. What are you doing? He's being a menace. The fabric is lovely. It is worn really, really well. The Malabrigo lace is a single ply, so I assumed that this would pill like crazy, but it's not pilled at all. I mean, I've not worn it as much as my Chestnut sweater, because this is like, you know, wearing out the house kind of a thing, and I've not really been doing much out of the house. But I have been wearing this a lot. This is like one of the jumpers that I reach for when I just don't know what to wear going out. It's not too hot, not too cold. So basically I really love this jumper, and I want to knit one more jumpers using a lace held with a mohair, and 2 more of this pattern. I did try to make, well, I did make a whole other jumper, which began with me trying to modify this Cumulus blouse pattern. Then it was nothing like the pattern. I had changed like everything about it. I knit that using 2 strands of mohair, and I didn't like the fabric as much. It felt a bit too poofy. The fabric was just a bit too poofy, so I unravelled that. So yeah, but I love this one. So the next pattern, I don't know if you can see, he has made a bed on all of my jumpers. The next pattern, you're gonna fall. So the next pattern that I knit was another chestnut jumper. This time I decided I wanted more of like, no, don't play with that. He's playing with fires. I decided I wanted more of like an outerwear garment, basically like a coat, an impenetrable by the wind kind of a jumper. So I saw Petite Knit's version of the chestnut that she made out of pure gynt. I looked up that yarn, and it was relatively affordable to get a jumper's quantity in my size. So I decided to treat myself. I don't have a big budget for yarns, and usually it is drops. So I apologise for that. And there are quite a few jumpers that don't use drops and use other things, so don't worry. So yes, I knit this in pure gynt. I'm not sure what the colour was. I do have this on my Ravelry. If you want to look at that, I will link it below. So about this jumper, I don't love it. I don't think I suit it as much as the other one anyway. I knit the same size, and this is like a lot, no, it's going crazy. This is a lot more fitted. I have seen other people knit patterns, and they say the same thing, that when they knit with pure gynt, even if they knit the same size, they always get a garment that's smaller than what is said in the pattern, which is annoying. I just want a more oversized. Also, I actually got a ball extra than what she says to get in the pattern, and I still ran out, and I wasn't going to buy another ball and pay postage and all of that, because then it would have tipped her over into like, you know, over my budget really. So I tried to do the best I could. Actually, it's fine. I did originally do a split hem. I don't know how much you can see. And I blocked it and stuff. I wore it a couple of times. Nanook! I wore it a couple of times, but then it kind of fell weird because this fabric is a lot more stiff. So the way it was falling, it really like stuck out both sides, and I was like, that's not really like the classic kind of can wear with anything kind, and also with warmth. If you've got like a big split, it lets in cold air. So I changed it, and I don't know, I think I prefer it, but basically I don't really wear this jumper. I don't think I suit it. My note's going crazy. I'm gonna move the plastic bag Wait, Nanook, what are you doing? No. No. Should be better. I don't really wear this. One, because I don't think I suit the high neck. If I could be bothered, I would rip this out and just make it, you know, a shorter neck. But I can't really be bothered because I don't know, there's just something about this jumper that I don't really like. So I'm a bit disheartened by it. But if it's super cold, I will wear it because the neck, I mean, the fabric is impenetrable by the cold. It is so warm, which is great because obviously it is cold where I live. So yes. Oh, the fact that I can't really say how the yarn has worn because obviously I've not really worn it that much. I mean, it's not pilled so far. I don't really know if this yarn does pill a lot. It is a relatively rustic yarn. It's softer than what I thought, but you can still feel it if you get too hot, especially like here. It's not nice. I'm okay with rustic yarn, but if I get flustered and annoyed, it just is it's too much. So another reason why I don't really wear this. What are you doing, Nanook? He's going crazy. You're going crazy. So the next pattern that I knit was the next pattern that I finished really was sweater number 15 by My Favourite Things Knitwear. I think I might have started this, I must have started this in 21 because it took me so long to finish, so I assume I didn't cast this one and finish this one last year. This is possibly my favourite jumper this year, or at least top 3, for a couple of reasons. The yarn is super special to me. I was very, very kindly gifted it by a subscriber, a watcher, which is incredible and so kind and lovely, which was the mohair for this. It was Lamana, I think. My memory is awful. I have a Ravelry page for this if you want to check that out. I held it together with a Colourmart yarn, which I've got mohair in my mouth, which is, I believe, a wool or a merino and a cashmere blend. So it is a really, really, really soft jumper. So I did a couple of modifications for this. I basically, I added another cable each side of the cast on, instead of increasing the 2 cables before you split. I've not described that well. Basically, with the pattern, you cast on an extra cable here, but I wanted more of a drop shoulder, so I just started off with the extra 2 cables. I also decreased out a cable. Can you see that? I don't know. I decreased out a cable under the arm, which isn't in the pattern, and I did that because this is a warm jumper. It's cables, it's mohair, it's a warm jumper, and if I was to knit that with the big, wide sleeves, then it would have been like a contradiction, and it wouldn't, like, if I want a warm sweater and I wouldn't have gotten, it would have been pointless basically. And I love it. I think the fit the fit in the sleeves is perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. I do want another version of this with the big sleeves. What else to say? Fabric's beautiful, the drape's really nice. It took me a long time to knit though. I was really excited about it at the beginning, then I got burnt out with it, so I decided let's just put it down because I'm not enjoying it and I really want to enjoy knitting it. And when I picked it up again, Nanook, stop biting that! I'm gonna have to get him off that. Nanook! Bad boy. That's not nice. So when I picked it up again though, it was just so much more enjoyable. When I was knitting it for the first sort of, you know, go of it, I was counting 6 3 6 3 6 3 every stitch really. When I picked it up again, I didn't have to do that. It just came so naturally and it was such a joy to knit. Hence why I really want to knit another one, which I know is a big commitment, but I loved it. So the next pattern that I knit, Nanook, you can't play with wires, you can't do it. No, that's bad, you hurt yourself, baby. Oh, the joys of having a kitten. The next pattern that I knit was my second most worn garment of last year, which is the Cottage cardigan by Jacqueline Cieslak. So I'm so sorry. I should have filmed this after he's had this mad half hour, but I've been meaning to film this video for so long, and if I didn't film it now, it wasn't going to happen for like another week. So I'm sorry if that's really distracting. It's distracting me, which is probably distracting you. So it is my Cottage cardigan by Jacqueline Cieslak. Now I knitted this using one strand of Woolyknit British 4-ply cone in smoke, and I held it together with a dropped mohair in, is it like pearl, which is a really light pink. I don't think you can tell it's a pink mohair. I can, it's got like a hue of pink, which I think is really beautiful. It's like illuminating the jumper. It probably won't show on camera, but in person it is really lovely. The fabric is beautiful. I really, really enjoy, I'm trying to find the buttons. I really enjoy knitting with the Woolyknit cone. No, please, please. Oh, I really enjoy knitting with the Woolyknit cones. Although I will talk a little bit more about another, experience I had knitting with the Woolyknit cone that wasn't as good as this. But for this I really enjoyed it. The fabric is beautiful. When you hold the British 4-ply with a mohair, it creates a really beautiful fabric. It can be flowy as well as hold the shape and bouncy. The finished fabric is quite bouncy, and it just feels really nice to wear. Obviously it is a bit more of a rustic yarn. For this, it doesn't annoy me. Obviously it's a v-neck situation, so it's not up here or here. I do wear it open a lot, but I do wear it closed as well. So it's not on my most sensitive part, which helps. And also with a lot of yarns, really, the like the type of dye for different colours can change the softness of the yarn. And for this, I think it's Pearl Drops, that was one of the softer colourways that I have used, which also helps with the fabric. I adore this pattern. I have knitted it again, which I will show you in a bit. You knit the button band as you go, which is like one of the reasons why I think this is like my second cardigan, I think. I was really, hesitant about knitting cardigans because it's purling, and also you've got to pick, like traditionally, no, don't bite wires, babe, you'll hurt yourself. Traditionally, obviously, you pick up the button band and knit it like that, and that's just too much for me. Like picking up the right amount, getting the right gauge with the smaller needles and the rib, it adds so much more stress that this just takes away, and it's such an enjoyable knit. Babe, don't bite wires. Don't do it. You'll hurt yourself. And hence, so I knit another 2 cardigans after this year, and both of them had like the knit as you go button band. So there you go, that's testament to the construction, basically. Probably forgotten a few things to say about this, but honestly I can't recommend this pattern, and also the designer, Jacqueline Cieslak. Babe, don't bite wires! No! No! Right, you can go and play outside, babe, okay? There's no wires out there. Okay, that should calm things down here. So her patterns are really, well, I've gotten another pattern of hers that I've not knit yet. But, so this is the only pattern that I've knit from, but this experience, reading the pattern, following the pattern, how it's written, you can obviously tell that she has put a lot of thought, time, effort into it. You can really tell, and yeah, I can't sing its praises enough. If you're looking for a staple, easy, go-to cardigan, this is it. So on to my next finished object, which is the very v-neck raglan by Jessie Made Designs. It's crumpled, so because it's been in a drawer basically since I knit this. I have not worn this yet, which I'm quite sad about because I do adore the jumper. Let me just see if I'm still recording. I am. So I do adore this jumper, but I knit this. When did I knit this? I think I knit this. Oh, it's so crumpled. I think I knit this at a kind of awkward time in the year in terms of like the temperature, and I think I just knit it at such a time where there wasn't like a day or the weather wasn't really up for this garment, because it's warm, because I knit it with Flora, Drops Flora and Drops Mohair, so it's a warm fabric, but it's a v-neck and it's cropped, and also the where you split for the sleeves is really low down, so if you're wanting to wear it under like a jacket or something, it's can be a bit annoying. But I adore this pattern, I adore this jumper, I love a deep V. This is quite deep. I would like it deeper. I really like a deep V, but this is good. I like this. This used hardly any yarn because obviously it's cropped, it's got the v-neck. It took hardly any time at all. I love the drape of the fabric. It's Flora in pistachio and drops in, is it green apple maybe? I could be wrong. But yeah, I love the fabric. But there's just not really been a time for me to wear it, which is super sad because I love it. But hopefully now that, you know, I've got a whole year ahead of me and I've got more opportunities to get the right weather to wear this, if that makes sense. I think I just knit it at an awkward time of the year, and this is more of like a transitional spring, probably kind of a jumper. So yes, I have high hopes for this. Obviously I can't comment on the fabric or anything like that and how it's worn because I've not worn it. But I would recommend the pattern. Jessie made, honestly, she has no duds. Like, all of her patterns are really, really lovely. They're all, even though perhaps the techniques are maybe a little bit more advanced than, you know, a beginner knitter, she explains everything so well that really, if you're, you know, ambitious and a beginner, you can go for it and you're probably going to be fine. So yes, onto, I feel like I'm really like powering through these. Onto my next one. Now we are getting into summer tops. Saying that I only knit 3 summer tops this year, I knit a lot of like little summer tops in 21 and 20. All of them really were Jessie Maid's patterns, like the ripple crop and so summer and all of that, you know, all of the classics. And these two, they're the same pattern by Jessie Maid, and I will try them on now. So this is the As Friends tank by Jessie Maid. They're both knitting cottons, and I can't remember what yarn it is. It's not drops, so it's not drops. I think this is the first one that I've finished, possibly. I did fiddle around with the stitch counts, what size I knit, like neither of these are, like, I changed everything really. Like the amount of stitches cast off here and here, and the amount of stitches I cast on anyway, the length, yeah. But I love this pattern. It's such a classic pattern silhouette, you know, neckline, the straps, well, the straps are quite thin really. You can see a bra wearing this, but I mean, Petite Knit put out a pattern this year which looks identical to this, which I'm a bit cheeky because this came out way before she released that pattern. And honestly, if you're looking at both patterns, you're like, which one should I knit? Go for this one. Because it's, again, it's just so good. It's really size inclusive. All of her patterns are well written. The fit is beautiful. You really can't go wrong with her patterns. So I would highly recommend this pattern. I did knit it in 2021 using 100% silk BC garn, and that little summer crop top is probably my most worn little summer tops. It's stunning, hence why I knit 2 more this year. So that's my first one. So I deliberately knit that the pattern calls for a lot more positive ease than that. I deliberately obviously knit it tighter because I wanted a tighter fitting top, honestly just to wear underneath other knits. So but I haven't worn this one at all. Maybe I've worn it once. The fabric is stunning, the yarn is stunning, so lovely to work with. It's 100% cotton, but it feels like merino wool. I'm not a fan really of knitting with cotton and you know, plant fibres really, because it's sort of hard on your hands because it's not stretchy typically, and it can be splitty and all of that stuff. This yarn wasn't. I will put on the screen or down below what yarn this was. I think it was a Scheepjes. That's not how you pronounce that. I know it's not how you pronounce it, but I don't know the really bad English pronunciation of it. So I think it was that. Anyway, moving on to the next version, which I wanted a less cropped version and also a less fitted version as well, which it is. I mean, it's not that much looser, but it is longer. And again, I knit this to wear really underneath knits, underneath the cardigan, and yeah, as a, you know, a typical summer top. And this one I have worn a lot. The fabric is stunning. It is, I can't remember. My memory is so bad. But I highly recommend this yarn as well. It's super soft. It's buttery. Again, it doesn't necessarily feel like you're knitting with cotton, which is good for me personally. I do like that. I did modify this pattern again. Obviously I knit it longer. I also modified basically with the pattern, the straps come a little bit too far in for me, and for that one that I just showed you, the straps still come in a bit too for me. I think I have wide shoulders, so maybe that's just a me thing. So I modified basically where the straps start. And I think it was successful in this one. To be honest, I could have done with a few extra stitches so that it was more here, but it's fine underneath things and I still love it. I will probably continue to make a good couple of other versions of this. I really want another one knit in silk, because honestly it's just so beautiful, and because it's so small, well, for my size, it doesn't take much yarn, therefore I can get a nice yarn, you know, one skein, one or two skeins, and knit a whole top out of it, which is pretty affordable, which is really nice. It's a nice way to knit with nicer yarn, not nicer yarn, but more pricey yarn, but obviously still keep it in budget. So the next finished object is my next version of the Cottage cardigan, again by Jacqueline Cieslak. This is a very special knit. So this is first of all, it's knit out of 100% one strand of Qing fibre mohair silk, whatever it's called, in the colour latte. It is so soft, so beautiful, a beautiful fabric, so special, and it's special because I knit it to wear on my wedding day. But it was one of the hottest days that Glasgow had last year, so I didn't wear it at all. I don't have one picture of me wearing it because it was just too hot to even stand like for 5 minutes to get one picture taken of me. I've got a picture of it like draped over the dress that's on a hanger, but that's as far as it goes. I didn't even put the buttons on it. I probably ran out of time, to be honest. But I adore this cardigan. Really, really beautiful, knit in just one strand of mohair. And yeah, it's just so special that I've not worn it, which I really, really, really try to avoid doing, but it's my wedding cardigan. And yeah, and I really should put the buttons on, really. And also, again, I sort of knit it at an awkward time, so there's not really been, or there wasn't really the right weather to wear this over the top of this maybe, and so yeah, I do hope to get more wear out of it this year, because, you know, I knit things to wear, I don't knit things to, you know, keep in a drawer. But this, I don't know, it's just so special because it's my wedding cardigan. Obviously I can't comment on the wear of it at all, but this yarn is beautiful, so soft, really great quality, and special. So on to my next finished object, which was a test knit. I think this was my first test knit of the year. I did one other test knit, I believe, this year. I did a lot less, well, I say a lot less, but the past, like, year before last, I knit quite a few more test knits, I think. But since then, I've been a lot more strict as to like the test knits that I choose to do, because I really want to choose ones that I will actually wear, and I do love the pattern, you know, enough that I would actually wear it. And I wasn't following this designer before, obviously she put out the test call and stuff. You know how like on Instagram, like suggested posts just come up randomly on your feed, and I seen a picture of her wearing this or something like that, and I instantly went, followed her, looked for the pattern, and then I realised that it wasn't even out yet. So then when she put out the test call, I was like, I need this. And also because like summer was like coming to a close and all of that, I was like, I need this before it's too late. So anyway, I got the test knit. This was the best test knit that I've done because of the way she organised it. Such a lovely person, and you know, giving feedback was great, and you know, getting help was great. The people were great, and the other test knitters. So it was a really great experience. I really loved it. Anyway, the pattern. So this is the Melides. Do you know that way where you see a word written down and you never say it out loud, and then you're like, is that even how you say that? It's Melides. Melides. I'm dyslexic, so it's fine. So yeah, by Knit. And this, so it's reversible. First of all, V-neck one side, and I will show you the other side. A square neck the other side, which is just super fun and practical because you get, is that right? Yeah. Because you get 2 in 1 basically, and both sides are really, really lovely. I love this. This I knit in 100% cotton again. It is the same yarn as that white top that I just showed you, because I loved that. I love that yarn so much, and it's such a beautiful drape, and it's affordable as well. But you would have thought it was a luxury yarn for how beautiful the fabric is, how nice it is to knit with, etc. Yes, so beautiful fabric. The pattern is really, really lovely. I would highly recommend this pattern. It's not too difficult. There's slip stitches and I-cord, and then the rest is just like decreases because it's knit bottom up. There's seed stitch, I think that's called. Yeah. But overall, really pretty easy. Really lovely pattern. It's got like faux seams. The thing that really like drew me to this was the faux seams, because summer tops can end up just looking the same, like just, you know, simple. It is what it is. But with this one, it actually has some interest, which just made it stand out, made it look so much more luxurious and like high end. You want out, babe? There you go. So yeah, I really recommend this pattern if you're looking for a beautiful summer top that's well written, you know, more original, is that how to say it? More original, you know, simple but with like a little twist. Go for this one. It's reversible. I'm not getting paid to say this, I swear. I just really like this pattern. Fits really nice. When I first made it, I can't remember what I thought was wrong with it, but I've worn it. Again, there wasn't really, like, here in Scotland or, you know, Glasgow, it turned cold really fast, so I sort of had limited days to wear this, but I definitely wore it every opportunity I could because it's bra friendly, super simple to pair with things, yeah, I'm going to stop talking about it now. And on to my next garment, which was one of the only ones that I did not knit for myself this year. I hate the term selfish knitter. I will not say that I'm a selfish knitter because I don't think knitting for yourself is selfish, but I do, you know, for the majority of my knits, knit for myself because it's what I enjoy the most. I love getting the finished object, and also knitting garments for other people and having to fit it to a body that you've not got in front of you. You can't try it on every 10 minutes if, you know, you're at a point where you need to. So anyway, so my wife has been asking for a cardigan for a long time, and after I had tackled my 2 cardigans this year, I felt like I was able to knit her one. Because I feel like a cardigan is a lot bigger of a like a lot bigger of a project to take on, just because it's knit back and forth, you know, knit purl, and I'm not, you know, really into that. I do like just a classic knit stitch stockinette in the round. But anyway, so this is the Field Day cardigan. Cardigans are just so hard to show, aren't they? This is a Field Day cardigan by, I believe, Ozetta. I could be wrong, I think it is. It is again a knit as you go button band. I was looking, basically I found a couple of cardigan knitting patterns that were knit the button band as you go, and I showed them to her and I went, which one do you want? And then I found you know, a couple of different kinds of yarns, like yarn bases, and I said, what colour do you want? Just to make it easier, because if you're not like, if you don't know what you're looking for in Ravelry, and you know, just in patterns in general, to a non-knitter it can just be like impossible. And also I also want to have a like enjoyable time knitting stuff as well. Anyway, so this is said cardigan. It is knit in Drops Sky, the chainette one, and it is such a beautiful fabric for a cardigan. I said this when I knit it, I think, that I enjoy a drapey fabric for a cardigan. It's just the look that I prefer. So I heavily suggested that to Karina, and she chose this yarn in this colour. Fits her really nice. It blocked out really nice. The fabric's nice. The fabric is held up. I've not really inspected this since I gave it to her, but the fabric is pilling. It has stretched out a little bit, but I knew that was going to happen, so I knit it a tiny bit smaller than the final measurements that I wanted. So that's fine, and yeah, she wears it a lot. It goes with a lot of things. It was fun to knit. I have put buttons on this one. She chose the buttons, and I just kind of mottled. Can you see that? I don't know. They're kind of just mottled black. So yes, and she has hinted or asked for another one in another colour. So maybe this year, who knows. So my next, we're getting down to the last 3 patterns of last year. The next, I should probably take this off. The next jumper that I knit was the Aros. Is that how you say it? Aros jumper by Petite Knit. This is not a size inclusive pattern, I don't think. Usually I knit a small in Petite Knit, and I think I knit like maybe the large or something, because the pattern calls for like maybe like an inch positive ease or no positive ease, and I wanted obviously positive ease, so I had to go up. So I don't, yeah. Anyway, so I chose this pattern because I wanted a plain classic jumper, just to wear around the house to keep me warm, that wasn't the chestnut sweater that comes up here. I just wanted, you know, not one that comes up here. But I was a bit bored of the drop shoulder technique, so I was looking for a different, you know, construction method basically, and I found this one. It's an older one of her designs. It's actually a striped design. Obviously I didn't do the stripes, but I chose it based on the construction, which is a saddle shoulder construction. Can you see that? No, you can't see that. Saddle shoulder, which creates like a set-in sleeve kind of a look, which I love, and I'm really happy that I now have the pattern, because I can just knit plain classic jumpers whenever I want. Yeah, I really love this, you know, construction. I don't actually like raglans. I find it, I do knit them, but I find it, when you like increase, you've got so many stitches on the needle, and it's just like, but when you split for the sleeves and the body, then I enjoy it. And this is like a raglan basically, but I love the finished outcome. So the fabric, I've not even spoken about that. The fabric is drops alpaca in camel held together with drops mohair in, I don't know, caramel? No, that's wrong. I don't know, but I got both of them on sale. I wanted this specific yarn and colour combination for a long time, but it's a bit more pricier, so when it was on sale, I had to, so I got it. Really beautiful fabric. The drape is so nice, it is so soft. This colourway of the drops mohair is one of those colourways that is softer than most, and the alpaca is so soft. So together, really lovely fabric, drapey, flowy. I have worn this one a lot. It has pilled a bit. It's actually pilled less than I expected. However, my eldest cat, Kiska, her favourite thing to do is knead me specifically on my stomach when I'm sitting on the couch. There's no stopping her basically, so I just let her do what she does. And jumpers are for wearing, jumpers are for doing things in, so if she ruins my jumpers by, you know, having fun, then that's fine with me. But she has ruined basically the front of this jumper. I don't know how much you can see, but she's pulled out stitches, she's basically brushed the mohair as well, so it's really fluffy on my front, and then on my back it's not at all, so I really look strange. So I don't wear this one out. And also one thing that I did, this is a folded neck. This is actually the first jumper that I put. Is this the first folded neck maybe that I did actually? And for this mohair, I dropped the mohair for this, you know, the folded part that's folded, that touches your neck. I dropped the mohair and I just held the alpaca because it was the softer of the two yarns. This is a sensitive area for me, so I thought I'm just going to use the soft one, and I'm very glad that I did. It makes it a lot more pleasant to wear, a lot more wearable, and I also did that on my next jumper that I will show you. So yes, I would recommend the pattern, however it's not size inclusive, so I wouldn't recommend the pattern for that. But yes, so on to my final jumper of the year, which is my Ingrid jumper, also by Petite Knit. So this jumper, I wanted to knit for a long time. If you watch my podcasts up until now, you will have seen a bit of an ongoing battle with this design. In the end, I think I did like 5 gauge swatches for this pattern. I couldn't decide on the colourway. I knew I wanted Woolyknit British 4-ply. I knew I wanted it in that yarn because it's a highly textured jumper, which means, you know, inevitably it's going to be a lot warmer than just a plain stockinette jumper. So I thought, if I'm going to knit this, I'm going to make it a super warm jumper. And the Woolyknit British 4-ply is a warm, is a warm fibre. So I knew I wanted to knit it in that fibre, however, the first colour that I wanted to knit it in was too dark. So I was like, I'm not putting all that effort in to knit something. Wow. You want to say hello? 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 Yes. So I can't remember what else. Yeah. And I wanted to knit in Woolyknit. I got the cream colourway, because I thought, you know, traditional, you know, Guernsey, Aran jumpers, you know, fisherman's jumpers, let's go for cream, that could be nice, like it's a modern take on that, so, you know, that could be nice. I got it and it just looked like a nicotine stained colour, and it just was not the one. So then I decided to naturally dye it. I'd naturally dyed it once, and that turned out to be like a pale banana yellow, which arguably was worse than the nicotine stained white colour. So then I decided to dye it again with a different natural dye, and it went a really not nice peach colour. So then I gave up on that, and I didn't even want to look at the yarn anymore. I had spent so much time with that yarn, days and days and days brewing both of the natural dyes, you know, days waiting on it soaking and dyeing, drying. I also caked up, you know, it's just like, I don't even want to look at that yarn anymore. Honestly, I want it out of my life, to be honest. So then I got this colourway, which I cannot remember the name of. Like I said, I did so many gauge swatches, and I got gauge on the gauge swatches. Then I knit this jumper and it's too tight, the gauge is too small. So then this turned out smaller. No, what are you doing? What are you doing? I originally wanted a more oversized jumper, but it is not. I would describe this as quite a fitted jumper for me. I know other people wouldn't, but I really love oversized jumpers. I do like this jumper, but I don't like this jumper. I would like this jumper, so the fabric is dense, it's not flowy, it's, because of the yarn, it doesn't block out, like it bounces back into, like, you know, it doesn't block out. And for this, you know, the rib, you want it to block out, and it doesn't block out. I mean, it did a little bit, but then it, like, I blocked the sleeve to a nice length. Now it has bounced back. I would want this ideally to come to here, not here. Then I was like, so yeah, I don't like dense fabrics. If I do want this jumper. I love this pattern, and I do want a finished object. You know, I want the jumper. I would knit it with either a very thin DK by itself, or a fingering weight with a mohair to get a more flowy, loose, you know, fabric, which is what I personally prefer in a jumper. It's super warm. I have worn this a couple of times. It's been a really, really cold winter. If I'm going out and it's super cold, I'll wear this under my jacket, and because it is fitted, obviously, like, the sleeves don't bunch up, so that's good. And as I was saying, for the last jumper, I did I changed, like, I used a completely different, I don't know how much you can see there, I used a completely different yarn for the inside. It is Drops Flora in like a beige, because although not the softest yarn, it's a lot more softer than this yarn. So yeah, I don't think I would have worn this jumper those couple of times if I hadn't have put the softer yarn here, because it's, you know, it's a tight neckline, it's right in the sensitive part, and like here I can feel that. One thing I will say, I know I've spoken about this yarn a lot, but one thing I will say about this yarn, I was knitting it. I don't think it'll come up on camera. Maybe I'll try. I don't think you'll be able to see, but there's like bits in it that feel like strings of plastic. It reminds me of those sheep. Are they North Ronaldsay sheep? They're an Orkney sheep anyway, that graze on the beach, you know, eating seaweed and stuff, and it feels like they used their fleece, and you know the washed up ropes that, you know, a fisherman's ropes that have, you know, for whatever reason, you know, been in the sea and washed up. It feels like a couple of those have gone into like the machine and been fluffed up with the fibre, then spun into it, and it feels like little strings of plastic rope are in the fibre. I mean, if I didn't try everything in my life to avoid conflict, I would have emailed them and say like, what's going on with this yarn, like it feels wrong. But I knit this when I went up to Orkney for my granny's funeral, and obviously those sheep that do graze on the, you know, beaches are Orkney sheep. So in the end it was like, well, it reminds me of those Orkney sheep, you know. I knit it when I went up to Orkney for my granny's funeral, so I was like, maybe it's a nice thing. But it does make the jumper more scratchy in my opinion. So yes, that's that. A little bit deflated about it, but it's not put me off from wanting to knit another one. So my last finished object, well, my last finished garment object for 2022 is a slipover, my first slipover. It's over here because I've not yet got nice finished object pictures of it, because it's not been bright enough weather. I've not felt good enough to, you know, go out the house and take pictures of myself wearing it, etc, etc. So it's still on the hanger, trying to be preserved as nicely as possible after blocking it out and all of that. So my last finished object, still on the hanger, not been worn yet, is a Stockholm slipover v-neck by Petite Knit again. I have been wanting a slipover for a long time to wear over shirts, and because it's warm, but it's not too warm because it's not on your arms, so it keeps, you know, your vitals warm, but it's not overly warm. So it's like there's a lot of, what are you doing, babe? What are you doing? You can't do that. Even cheeky. So there's a lot of like weather, you know, how do I describe that? There's a lot of times where I'm getting ready to go out and I'm like, do you know what, I could really just do a slipover over like a t-shirt even, just for that perfect amount of warmth for that day. And I've been putting it off because I'm like, is it just a trend that I'm not really trendy enough to, you know, style it out? And it probably looks awful on me now. But I have a really nice shirt that has like little ties and it's quite modern looking, and so a traditional, you know, grey V-neck over that. It's really nice. I'd have to show you, but it's obviously with my clothes. Kiss, you're crazy. She just jumped all the way up here. Hi. Anyway, so I've not even spoken about the fabric. This is one strand of Woolyknit with one strand. Oh, this is not drops mohair. This is Rito hobby mohair, I think. Because I was looking for mohair to go with. I'd asked Karina for a specific yarn for my Christmas, and I was looking for a mohair in the same colour. I love window shopping online anyway, so I you know, see what's about. And then I came across a new website called Woolbox, and it has Rito hobby mohair on sale for cheaper than what Drops is just to buy, not on sale. And I was just like, I'm gonna have to get it. So I got yarn for that. I got mohair to go with that yarn, and also I got mohair to go with this yarn to make a slipover because I already had the Woolyknit left over from my Cottage cardigan. So I thought, perfect, it's a sign, let's just knit a slipover, use my leftovers, a nice mohair that isn't drops. I have since bought another sweater quantity of that mohair because it was still on offer after I knit this, and I was like, I need more. So yeah, I've not worn this yet obviously, so I can't comment on that, but I have worn this fabric before, kind of, and I very much enjoy it. What are you doing? They're gonna go and fight now. Yeah, I'm gonna fight now. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for sticking to the end if you have. You know, like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. Yeah, and hopefully I will see you again for the accessories that I've knit. So yes, thank you. Hopefully I'll do a podcast soon. No promises though, because then I'll put pressure on myself, and then I definitely won't do one if I've got pressure on myself. So thank you for watching, and I will see